Okay, have you ever had this happen before? Somebody submits a project past deadline. Or maybe it's a team member who misses a meeting. Or maybe it's a colleague who doesn't do their part of a project. What about something as simple as a child who doesn't do their chores the way that you want them to? Whether you're leading professionally or personally, have you ever been let down by someone? I'm pumped because I've got 6 questions that every leader should ask the next time someone they lead drops the ball. Question number 1, did I make my expectations clear? This is everything from the budget, the deadline, to the quality of the work that needs to be submitted. A few weeks ago, I had this experience where my 4th grade daughter came to me. It was Sunday night, just as everybody was getting into bed, and she said, I've got homework to do. And I was like, you kidding me? You have been playing all weekend, and now you're telling me that you have homework. And I was ready to be like, yeah, natural consequence, you're not gonna be able to do your homework. You'll just tell your teacher that you decided to play all weekend, and so now you have nothing to show for it. My wife, who is way more thoughtful in these situations than I am, she said, well, did you make the expectations clear that she needed to have her homework done before bedtime on Sunday night? And sure enough, I did not actually do that. And so to my daughter, the expectation from her teacher was the homework must be completed by the time you step back in the classroom Monday morning. In my mind, and I hadn't made this explicitly clear, but in my mind, the homework should have been done way before, but I hadn't made that expectation clear. People aren't setting out to disappoint you. That's just not how most people live their lives. And so you have to ask yourself as the leader, did I actually clarify all of the expectations? And look, if you can answer this question, you may not even need the next few questions coming up because expectation management is everything. Okay, question number 2. Did I provide all of the resources necessary to complete the project to the standard that I have laid out? So our team here services about 10,000 people in our community. And we do everything from magazines and websites and social media to photography and videos. Now, if I need my videographer to find footage from 3 years ago, he can only do that if I give him enough storage space to save everything. Or if I need my designer to work on the magazine, she's gonna need Adobe InDesign. I can't expect them to do the things I've asked without the tools needed. And this sounds like such a simple question, but sometimes it's not a matter of whether they want to do it or can do it, but it's that they can't even get the job done because they don't have all of the tools that they need. So you need to make sure that they have all the resources needed to complete the job. Okay, question number 3. Was this failure due to a lack of skill or a lack of will? And so these are 2 different things. One of them is if the person lacks the skill to be able to complete the project to the standard that you've laid out, then you need to revisit what they're capable of. And you need to decide what do they need to do in order to be able to accomplish this project. And look, maybe that's as simple as spending a morning on YouTube videos, just figuring out how to complete this particular project using this particular procedure. Sometimes it's that simple. But sometimes it requires a lot more because the upskilling required is significantly greater. And so you've got to decide as the leader, if it's a matter of skill, do I have the time and the resources necessary to upskill this person to the level that I need them to be at? Now, if the problem is will, then you have to ask yourself, have I as the leader created a powerful enough vision for the future? Do they not want to do this because they just don't care or they don't see the value in it? That's on me as the leader if that's the case. And look, even if you've created the greatest vision, sometimes their head's just not in it and their heart's just not in it. And sometimes that's because of the work environment, and other times it's actually because of things that are happening outside of work altogether. Which leads me to the next question. Okay, so the next question is, what part of the story am I missing? Like I said, people don't want to disappoint you. So let's say that they understand the expectations, they have the skills, they have the will, they have all the resources that they need, and they still come up short, right? Sometimes this happens. Then you need to ask yourself, okay, well, is it something that's happening outside of work? Are there external things to the project that are influencing them? And if you remember during COVID, this was happening all the time where someone would have a loved one who was sick or who had just passed away. Sometimes they share that, sometimes they don't, and you never know what's going on in the lives of the people who you're working with. And if you did know, you would certainly extend a measure of grace and understanding for that particular failure at that point in time. And so if you've accounted for everything else, it might be time to dig a bit deeper into the story, because there might be things that you don't fully understand that are influencing what their performance at work looks like. And so this goes way beyond just forgiving someone for a professional mistake. This is really about supporting people as whole people, beyond just the professional context. And you only get that if you dig deeper into the story. Okay, the next question is this a pattern? And this is really important because everybody fails, and that's okay. You failed a ton, I failed a ton, everybody fails. There's nothing wrong with failure, but what you're looking for is this part of a bigger pattern? And what is the trajectory looking like? Are they making the same mistake over and over and over and over and over? Or is it a mistake here with a correction, an entirely different mistake with a correction, an entirely different mistake with a correction? Those you can account for, and that trajectory looks good. But if you start to notice that there's a pattern, that's when you need to have a different type of discussion. So you're looking for patterns. Okay, and then the final question for you to ask is this: what system can be put in place that would prevent this failure from happening again? This is my favorite question, and I love this one because my supervisor does this as well. And so anytime I come up short, his very first question to me is, hey, is there something you can do? Is there a system you can build that will prevent this failure from happening again? And I love this question because it is focused on the problem. It's not about, Kyle, you suck and you failed at this and now you're the problem. It's really about, hey, you have the ability and I have the implicit trust in you to correct this. I need you to find where the breakdown in systems were, and I need you to fix the system, because that's how we prevent this from happening in the future. Okay, so that was 6 questions that you can ask as a leader, whether at home or at work, the next time anybody you lead drops the ball.